this will look really, really good.
There was this person on Facebook charging $40 for a half hour for coaching, telling me how to make an eBay business and actually run an eBay business efficiently and grow my business. So I wanted to test. I just paid $40. Let's learn something, and hopefully you can learn something as well. I'm Carson Batzel. I've done $1 million eBay reselling. This guy's out here selling $40 for 30 minutes. I hope I learn a lot, and I hope provide you a lot of value in this call. You guys have the behind the scenes angle. Okay, let's go.
Yeah, it's about 500%.
That's insanity.
Just about finding the products as it is, manipulating the eBay algorithm. I wonder, how many are you selling in 90 days?
Not as much as I'd like to. How do you use AI in your business right now?
I don't.
We'll come back to that AI clip here in a second. The biggest thing is this is not a dunk video on this guy by any means. He's 21 years old. I learned that at the end, and he's built something incredible, a $10,000 a month business. However, there's a difference between a $10,000 a month business and a $100,000 a month business, as will be demonstrated at the end of this video. Watch all the way through. This is going to be the most valuable eBay video in the reselling space that you've ever seen. I do $100,000 every single month. He does $10,000 every single month, and there are mistakes holding him back from reaching the next level. With that being said, to be honest with you, I agree with a lot of what he says in this video, and there is a lot of value on both sides. I'm going to be reacting live. I've got it on the monitor right here, reacting live with you guys and showing you what to do and what not to do to benefit your reselling business.
We'll touch back on some of those more technical, like manipulation strategies later. What does your day-to-day look like right now?
So I source about 3 to 4 days a week, depending on the amount of items I'm able to find in the subsequent days. If I have a really good... I'm sorry?
Sourcing? Just making sure I heard you right.
Yeah, sourcing 3 to 4 days a week.
15 to 20 hours every single week for eternity as a reseller, right? That's how long this guy spends finding his inventory. 3 to 4 days a week, that's 4 to 5 hours a day, 20 hours a week. For the rest of his reselling career, he's going to be doing the exact same thing unless he changes something fundamental about his model to enable him to reach the next level. Right? I've done $1.4 million in eBay sales. The only time I've set foot in a thrift store is to prove that thrift stores are not the best method to source from. Right? Never once stepped foot in a thrift store to source. Watch what happens when I tell him that next. Keep your eyes on his reaction right here.
I don't go to any thrift stores. You said you go into a bunch of thrift stores?
Yeah, what's your primary sourcing method?
I do everything online. Just buy and sell on eBay.
Right. Yeah, that's a solid way. It's not my main source of sourcing, but I have done quite a bit of it over my time. What's your what's a normal item for you that you sell?
It doesn't really matter because every single niche just has a high sell-through rate, right? So
okay,
really going into depth in the product research tools and finding items that are essentially guaranteed to sell.
Okay. So what are some of the things you found recently?
There was a baseball card I found yesterday, and I sent it to a bunch of people that I know. You could buy it for $2, and I sold it at $28 12 times.
That's good. Where'd you get the card from? Like a wholesaler or from like Walmart clearance? Like what?
eBay.com.
I cut his reaction there, but it was priceless. So same sale, right? Same $28, but just completely different life. He would have spent 2 hours in the thrift store to find the item. I sourced it right off here off my couch, and just the margins were insane. That's why you have to be using a product research tool. Every $1 million eBay operation relies on product research tools, and they source exclusively online. There's no going to the thrift stores. There's no bins. There's no wholesale. There's no retail arbitrage. That's not what it is. So he drove to 20 thrift stores this week to find a product just like that one. I sat down in my chair, got that listed, had the card shipped to my front door. It was an insane product. $2, 28, and sold 12 of them. The difference is he's scavenging and hunting for inventory, and I'm simply sourcing it, right? Think about the ceiling on each of these methods. One of them's ceiling is incredibly high. That's sourcing online. Whereas the thrift store has a very limited amount of inventory, so you really can't build this operation past $10,000 a month. Now let's talk about how he thinks about promoted listings. This one is absolutely going to shock you.
I'm sorry?
You got to get lucky to be at the top.
Yeah, I'm consistently at the top for my items because I promote at 3%. So just by that nature,
what do you promote at? You said 3%?
3%. The lowest you can do is 2. So the difference between 2 and 3 isn't that much.
Interesting. You're at the top and only promoting at 3%.
Yeah, because it's not just about what you promote at. Obviously, if you're in
the same products. I'm just trying to think, is 3% better than like 20? So if we both did the same product, same title, and I did 20% and yours was still 3, would yours still be at the top?
It would depend a lot on not just that, but also your standing with eBay.
3% promotion is not a strategy. It is the floor. It's the worst that you can be doing. This is what most eBay sellers do not understand about promoted listings. I'm not bashing him at all, but his strategy does not add up. I said, what would work better? 20% promotion against a 3% promotion? He said, it depends. It does not depend. Mine would sell way faster. If a 20% ad fee gets your item to sell 3 times as fast, you're cash flowing so much quicker in your business, and it's absolutely worth the extra fees. It's not paying for visibility, that's reinvesting and paying for velocity in your reselling. Most sellers are terrified of ad fees because it's an additional add-on. Here's what you can do. Like in the $2 flip to $28 example, you can simply raise your prices by the amount you're promoting at. So if you want to slap on a 20% promotion, simply raise your prices by 20% and you're paying the same amount in fees in the end. You're making the same amount of money. The guys running $1 million and even $100,000 eBay operations are not promoting at 3%. I just did a store review on this guy who's making around $500,000 in profit every single month. He actually commented on one of my videos and he said, by the way, we are actually not making that much money in profit. We are getting killed by the ad fees. We're promoting at 20 to 25%. You know, real eBay operations do not promote at 3%. So I would highly recommend for you as well, promote heavier and simply raise your prices. But what happened next, this part that really got me, was when I asked him about AI. You better stick around for it.
How do you use AI in your business right now?
I don't.
This is the moment that I knew we were not playing the same game. Let's keep on going.
You don't use any AI?
I mean, I bounce ideas off of ChatGPT, but in terms of like actually using AI to make things more efficient, I haven't been sold on the idea that an AI listing tool could like significantly lower my my time spent, because like I said, my store is built on the idea sell the item today. If you
Guys, you used to have to hire like a professional editor. That would be like around $20 per photo.
You don't need a professional editor.
So now, like what I'm saying is, this is my idea here. Why not just take it with your phone really quick and upload it to an AI that can make it look like a top 1% image?
For my store, and most of the items you come across in day-to-day sourcing don't require that. Like, I'll ask you, if you're buying a used toaster, do you need the photos to look like they were taken by a professional photographer, or do you just need the photos to show the condition and if it's functional?
Well, what would help the item sell the best?
What helps the item sell the best is to have a better item. I know that doesn't.
The question is never, do you need it, but what can help your business the best? What would help your items actually sell better? And you absolutely have to be using AI because it's 2026. AI can write your eBay titles, optimize your descriptions, give you a top 1% photo, no camera needed, in under 30 seconds. You get your entire listing in under 30 seconds. Contrast that with other e-commerce fields like Shopify, Amazon. Every single image is made by AI. There's going to be a time very soon here on eBay where you have to use AI or you're going to go out of business. So while this guy's actively coaching other people how to build a successful reselling business, I hope he actually adopts AI. That way he can keep pushing the needle forward. This is a critical question that every single reseller watching this should ask themselves. Am I still running my business in the method of 2020 or 2000? A lot of resellers have been sticking around for a little while. Or am I adopting my business to this next wave of AI? Because the people that don't adopt to AI in these next 2 years are gonna get lapped by the people who use AI like me. There's one really cool use feature now. It's called Claude Code. You can literally scrape hundreds of websites for the best deal on your products to flip online, sourcing online, hundreds of products in under 1 minute. You just need to give it a good prompt and tell it like what niche you're looking for. And I say all this because the people who do not use AI and adopt it within this next year are gonna get lapped by the people who are using AI and scrapping hundreds of websites for the best deal instead of people going to the thrift stores or just even searching on ebay.com. So at this point, I decided to actually flip the call around and actually give him a little bit of value in return. Let's see how he takes it.
I hire someone to do my listings for me. Now, maybe that's not a good idea, but I just want to get your thoughts on that. So
Right.
I'm paying them around, they're around $300 a month right now to list.
Okay.
They list around 2,500 new products a month. What do you think of that? Is that a good idea, or should I stop?
How many hours would it take for you to do it per month?
It would be 3 hours a day at least.
3 hours a day, so that's about 900 hours a month. So you're paying $3 an hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say why not?
Why not in your case, brother?
Because my items are a lot harder to list in the way I would want, because I feel like it would be hard. I'm assuming you're outsourcing this.
Unless you want to pay $18 an hour. I'd rather pay.
I'm assuming
they're getting paid 3 times the minimum wage, 3 times the average wage in the country.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing that for other sectors. Like if my eBay store gets to the size where I'm getting dozens of messages an hour.
Most of your time's in the thrift store and you're really, really good at it. Why not hit up 50 hours of thrift stores a week and outsource your shipping and outsource your listing? And just be a hawk, scavenger, finding as many items as possible in the thrift store. Instead of 10 per store, you're getting 20. And
it would be hard to grow that quick.
So I'm getting somewhere with him. I actually hope after this video, I hope he sees it and takes actual action and does this, because he even says the math out loud. He'll be saving thousands of dollars if he does what I says. He admits it here in a second. Let's keep on watching this. This is the best section of the video.
Where, you start with going to X amount of thrift stores, then as you get bigger, you go to more, and then eventually you're like, you know what? I need to hire somebody so that I can go to more, which I'm going to do eventually, not just for the reselling, but also the content creation.
You probably would make you make at least $300 in a month by adding on 10 thrift stores, right? Cost $300
more than that. Because if I added 10 thrift stores, I would add about $2,000 of like sourced items.
And I just had this genius idea for you, right? Outsource listing and then add in all those other thrift stores. It's $300 versus you're making an additional $2,000 every single month at least.
Right.
That was my favorite part of this video right here, because first hire every single reseller should make is a lister. It costs $300 a month at scale. I'm paying my listers under $8,000 every single month, and they're making incredible money in the countries where they're from. What you should do is spend 25 cents on every single listing and reinvest that time into what you're actually good at in your business. For this guy, it's thrifting, right? He'd be making $2,000 more if he were to reinvest his time and start thrifting more. For you, it might be the shipping, the messages after the purchase. For me personally, it's just managing my team. Let's keep watching to the end. I don't want to spoil it, but we may become friends here at the end. And there's one super cool thing about this guy that I haven't mentioned.
Well, man, I really appreciate your time. I got to go here, but I can tell you really know your stuff. You put a lot of work into this.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate this.
Care about helping people too, so I really appreciate it. And this was
I hope you learned something. I mean, your eBay store is definitely a bit more out there compared to like what I was expecting. But I was expecting something different. But how old are you, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 19.
You're 19. I'm only 21, man. Like we're both just trying to make it in this world. Your setup reminds me of like the finance bros. Like I totally get you, man.
Well, let's stay in touch, man.
21 years old, built from absolutely nothing. Real respect. There's zero sarcasm when I say this. He's built up a $10,000 a month eBay business at 21 years old. Massive respect for what this guy is doing at his age. But his model is a ceiling. And if you're a reseller, you probably spotted the ceiling in this video, right? Thrift-only sourcing, there's a max capacity there. No AI in the business. 3% promoted listings can easily get beat in that. Doing everything with his own two hands. I've done 1.4 million on eBay over the last 2 years doing it my way. And actually, I copied someone else who was actually doing eBay. All the top dogs are doing this. Neither of us is wrong, but any reseller can see that there's only one method that can actually scale past $10,000 a month. If you're watching this and you're doing some of the methods that he was using, there is a better way to actually push the needle forward and grow your eBay revenue. Past just $1,000 a month, past just $2,000 a month, past just a side hustle, but into an actual pastime that can serve you and your family, that can pay the extra bills, that can give you free time. I work 2 hours a day in my business. Also to mention, most eBay resellers who are absolutely crushing it, way more than me, they're over the age of 50 years old, right? They're seasoned CEOs who've been doing this for 20 plus years, and they've built up systems to scale and actually step away from their business where they can run this off a cruise ship. So resellers, if there's one thing you take away from this video, scale smarter. And if you're interested in pushing the needle forward and growing your eBay revenue, comment down below the word blueprint and I'll send you an A to Z blueprint of how I resell, my exact method. That way you're not lost. Let's keep on crushing it, resellers. I'll see you in the next one.